ballet.
My name is Xochitl Sosa, and I'm a Pilates and bar instructor at Willow Gardens in Lockhart. And I live in Red Rock. And I run a contemporary circus company in Austin, and we're in our 5th year. And we do contemporary circus productions around the Austin area, like full theatrical ones. We also do kind of pop-ups with breweries or distilleries as well. And I am the director, founder, all-around admin person. And we have an upcoming show in April 10th through the 13th. And we'll be at a place called Indra's Warehouse doing our full theatrical length show called Ventanas. I found Circus through a camp that I went to, a summer camp, and kind of started there and then just loved doing it. It was like a theater camp as well, which I never enjoyed acting or like improv, comedy, or any of that stuff. So I kind of gravitated towards the movement aspect of it, and I started doing aerial and trapeze. And then I just continued doing it. And when I moved to Austin, they were looking for a trapeze instructor. And that's when I feel like I was able to like practice and really like become more professional and start teaching adults. And that was in 2010. So after teaching here in Austin for several years, I had a duo trapeze partner, which is like when we're hanging, I was the porter, so I would be like flipping her around. So we were working together for about a year, and she decided to audition for a circus school that's located in Brattleboro, Vermont. And so I decided, why not? And we went up to the audition and got in. At that point, it was a 1-year program where you learned like tumbling, there was acting, various aerial skills, dance, theater. So it's kind of like, I feel like contemporary circus encompasses all of that. So it is a very like wide genre. I found dance trapeze, which is trapeze that can spin. So I think people think of like the flying trapeze, but this trapeze can go up and down and spin. There's like a lot of floor work on the ground. You can do stuff in the ropes. It's like I think of it as like a kind of full dimensional trapeze thing. And then that's kind of where I ended up going with my career, was more dance trapeze for my solo stuff. So a circus school, the one I went to was very aerial based. I would say clowns, there are schools just for clowns, right? Like, and that's been going on longer. I feel like physical theater school would be for clowns. Like there's the Del Arte Institute. But yeah, I guess I learned everything from like intro to hoop diving, like diving through hoops to a little juggling. Yeah, so everything that you would kind of be asked. So yeah, having like a well-rounded education in circus is important. Yeah. So Cirque du Soleil was definitely one of the leading companies to like bring this new form of circus. Like in Europe, there's been traditional circuses, but then there's been contemporary like explorations in circus, right? And yeah, so Cirque du Soleil really like held the reins in bringing that, especially internationally, and bringing that into the mainstream. But I would say Cirque du Soleil is still a different type of circus than our contemporary circus. Because Cirque du Soleil, I mean, they have so much money for one, but it's still like not pedestrian. Contemporary circus can be very pedestrian. So it's really bringing like just like a normal person, but they're doing the circus skills. They're often in like pedestrian clothes, where Cirque du Soleil still is like in these like costumes, and they're like the other, or they're like creatures or stuff like that. So it's a little different genres, I would say. My company, I I really like the dance aspect, so I hire people, and most of my shows have like a dance and narrative kind of storytelling aspect to them. So that's what we've done pretty much with all of our shows. So I came upon Cirque Vita, and I mean, I think it has always been a goal of mine to make a show. Like, I like the idea, directing, because it has so many aspects. And I came from like, I did visual drawing, I've done dance. So I have like had little tidbits of that throughout my life. And I like the idea of directing because it's really everything you can bring together. As far as coming up with the company, when I moved out to Red Rock in 2019, I was coming off of an injury. So I had been performing with the Cirque du Soleil show, injured. So I had some injuries to my neck that was stemming from a shoulder injury, and then kind of like had to stop totally for a couple years. And so I think that's when I started to like more look for going into the realm of directing. And then 2020 happened, which shut down everybody's business. Anyways, Cirque du Soleil shut down. People weren't performing. So it was a time where I could like start to get together folks to like explore stuff. Circus is risk, right? Like that's why people come and watch it, is that people are putting their bodies at risk on stage in front of them. And yeah, I feel like a big part of circus school was also just like learning how to upkeep your body and having this toolkit to constantly go back, to strengthen, to rebuild, to take breaks, how to like rest your body, how to have the proper body workers, on call. And yeah, I think it's been also a big discussion with new circus and contemporary circus and the circus community of like, how do we deal with like how does the medical field deal with circus and circus injuries? Because if I get injured and I go to a PT at a regular hospital, they're like, oh, just stop doing it, right? But you can't, that's like not an option, or you're in the middle of performances. You're asking your body to do crazy things. And so you need to strengthen yourself beyond that crazy thing so that when you're running 2 shows a day, your body is keeping up with yourself. So our upcoming show is called Ventanas, and we actually did this show in 2023 with a different cast. This time we have a grant from the city of Austin, which has been amazing. So we're bringing in a bunch of out-of-town performers, which I'm really excited about because we were able to like really up the level. The show, the theme of Ventanas is we have these giant set pieces that look like windows, and the idea is that you're kind of like glimpsing into like the back of an apartment building and seeing into people's like little worlds. My brother lived in New York, and you could always like look across his tower of apartment buildings into the other people's. And I think during the pandemic, when people were, so isolated, and even though they were like living next to people, it always just made me think about like how our worlds are so close yet don't intersect sometimes. So that's the theme of it. And we have a lot of dance, a lot of acrobatics. It's a very like high energy acrobatic type show. And then there's all kinds of circus arts, from juggling to people doing handstands on people's hands to aerial rope. And it's 75 minutes. There's an intermission. A lot of work goes into the shows that we make. We're going to have 2 weeks of rehearsals and creation with the new cast. And those will be like long, 9 to 5 days of just like exploring movement, coming together with choreography, working it together. But, hopefully, I guess I could say I would love to bring a show to Lockhart. And it has been a hope of mine, if anybody from the city wants to reach out, but I'd love to bring a children's free circus show to the square in the spring sometime and just have a kid show that people can come to for free and that we work with the city to create and have that kind of experience for the children in Lockhart. That's one of my hopes. So, I love that part of doing circus, of just that feeling of being so present in that moment, but yet having to think through so many things. And then as far as what circus offers an audience, because it's such an expansive genre, it's just so limitless. And that I feel like bringing that to audience in a totally unexpected way. I think people expect to see circus as a tent show and these skills. And I love when I can make them feel things on stage in a way that they wouldn't normally feel or wouldn't expect to feel. And that's what we try and do in our show, is make people cry, make people laugh, make people feel things and, understand the performer on stage and understand their story.